Shirley. She's joining. Okay.
Oh, nice picture.
Oh, thank you. With my scarf.
I left the one of you on Facebook. I don't know how old you were, but a teenager.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, which one with my little spiky hair? Or
Wow, look at this, Aaron.
You just look considerably younger.
oh, yeah. I think I was 19 or 20.
Yeah. Hi, Samantha.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
And hi, Shirley.
Hi, Shirley. Hi, everyone.
Hi there.
All right, we're at time.
Oh, is it time?
Yep.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, all. I'm glad that you guys could make it. And again, to anyone who tried to join last time that wasn't able, I am profoundly sorry. I profoundly apologize. I had no idea about I'm still figuring this stuff out, but hopefully we have a little better handle. Penny's the co-host today, so she'll let people in as they join. And so we're talking about biofield therapy. So let's start with a short invocation. That's how I like to start any session, and especially dealing with biofield therapy. Thank you so much for your divine presence, divine protection, divine will, divine love, divine healing, divine truth, divine inspiration. To my spiritual teachers, all of the archangels, angelic beings, and all spiritual beings, thank you so much for your presence and your help. So be it. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about the classes today, and then I don't know if, so I wrote a blog post a couple days ago. I think it was Penny actually inspired it when you were asking me about how biofield therapy came about and how similar it was to pranic healing or other systems. And I really had to think about it, and I was going, actually, no, it's different than a lot of pretty much anything else out there in this genre. It's based in pranic healing, and a lot of what I do is similar as far as the construction and the format of the sessions, but also there's a lot of differences too. When I first started doing my healing work years and years ago, about I was about as old as I was in that picture, my little spiky hair picture, or a little younger than that even. And the first thing that I started doing would be cleansings, because that's what you do as a spiritual practitioner. And then my first formal introduction to healing, to the healing arts, was the pranic. Well, I'd read about it, but I took the pranic healing classes in 2001. So it was the introductory class. This is my textbook from that. You can see it's been read once or twice. It's a little worn. Miracles Through Pranic Healing by Grandmaster Choa Koksui. And then you take advanced pranic healing and pranic psychotherapy. And then there's other classes that you could add as well, like crystal healing and things of that nature. So that was my first really formal training, because it was in a workshop or classroom setting, actual teachers that I could ask questions to, classmates, and I really enjoyed it. And so for quite a while, my sessions would follow that form, the pranic healing format. But of course, I'd had a background in other things that I would add, and a background in other things that I'd integrate into my sessions. And then it was about 2017, I decided that I wanted to, well, I kept coming back to it. I kept coming back to healing work. And no matter what jobs I had, no matter what else I was doing, which was a lot of different things, different schooling, I'd always come back to this work. And so after Fresno State in 2017, I decided that this is, well, and not just me deciding, but some other signs along the way that this is what I should be doing with my life, being a healer. And when I first made up my business cards, because of the background that I had, you can see these are, oh, can you
nice.
see it? It says pranic healing, and
Right.
because that was the format that I was, and then, but not too, after a few months, I realized, wait, what I'm doing really isn't pranic healing. There's a lot of other stuff going on here. I did a couple of sessions for some other energy healers, working through Robert's shop, The Open Eye. And there's a lot of people in Fresno that would practice Reiki and different forms of healing, and they would come in and receive sessions from me. And when you have another healer saying, wow, I want to learn that, that's great. What do you do? It's such an honor, especially people that I have an enormous amount of respect for, and enormous amount of respect for their work, and they're telling me that they want to learn what I do. That was just an incredible compliment to me. And so I put together the first classes that I put together. They were about a 2-hour workshop. And of course, it was geared towards almost everyone that took the classes initially in 2018, 2019 were pretty much energy healers in one way or another, or at least had a background in metaphysics. And so the workshop was 2 hours, and it was pretty straightforward, sharing information. I really mostly sharing just the mechanics of what I did, and which worked out really, really well. And people were able to take that. Reiki practitioner that I know and adore said that it really helped her, because she's a master Reiki practitioner, and so she teaches classes, and she said a lot of what she'd learned from my class she'd share with her students as well, because it was really helpful. And so of course that was wonderful to hear. And then what happened at the beginning of 2020, so I'd done a few workshops, and then of course the coronavirus comes along. And then there's a difference, especially with the energy healing workshops. I thought I had a really hard time putting it into an online format, because you don't have that, like in class when we're doing the energy exercises, okay, partner up and now do this and that. And it's a really experiential process, and the students are able to interact with each other and do the work together. And then of course there's instant feedback. And so I was really hesitant as far as putting it online. Not that I didn't want to do virtual classes, but just a lot of hesitation as far as, am I going to even be able to teach these virtually? And so the format that I developed for the classes now, it starts out with the self-healing class, and it's really goes from step by step by step. I realize that not everyone who comes is going to have a background in healing. I realize that not everyone that comes is, well, even going to have, as I was made aware of last session by Samantha, even in a background in anatomy, physiology, or things I take for granted, having worked in the medical field for the majority of my adult life. And so taking all this stuff into consideration, I really feel like I put together a format that I'm confident people would be able to look at, people would be able to take the classes and apply the work in a safe manner. And not only that, but integrate the lessons in such a way that it'll be something useful to them. I'm like, when Sindel and I were doing our monthly classes, again, before coronavirus, she would be very, her classes are amazing. Would write out 2 hours of material and just an incredible amount of knowledge, an incredible amount of, I love the way she does things, and I wish I could do things like that sometimes, but then my own style was more experiential. Okay, here, read this little tiny amount of theory, and now we're going to put that into work. And now we're going to read this, and I'm going to tell you about this. Now we're going to sit down and do it. Because I'm much more hands-on. And so I've tried to copy her style in such a way that I'm giving enough information, but then also the hands-on exercises. And so this, with the self-healing, that really gives everyone a chance to integrate those energies, to learn how to do everything. And then also you're practicing on yourself. So you know if it's a little bit off, you know your own body better than anyone else, right? And so so starting with that, I feel like I was able to, it's my prayer reminder. I feel like I was really able to build a nice foundation with what I'm doing. Are there any questions or comments or?
Maybe later on, if you could put in the Grandmaster's name in the chat, so I can give that to my students if they want to look it up.
Oh yeah. It's Choakaksui. I'll send it to you. And also it's on my, I do mention him in my blog post.
Maybe give the address for the blog.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah.
And then I understand, so some of your students from your class, Penny, are with us today, or?
Well, they said they were going to.
Oh,
So
okay.
they'll be coming.
So there was an interest in Buddhism. One of the things, so I haven't taken the Reiki classes, but I've read books on Reiki, and I've been able to integrate some of that into my sessions. One of the things that I really love about the history of Reiki, their grandmasters, their teacher, the guy that originated it, was a Buddhist monk in Japan. And he says that the reason that he started developing and came up with it was because it follows the principles of Buddhism as far as healing others and alleviating suffering, which I really, really love and really thought was neat. So other things that I've integrated into my own practice. So I've studied acupuncture, acupressure, acupuncture theory, because I'm not in the state of California. To be a licensed acupuncturist, it's actually a master's degree, and which I didn't know this until I started looking into the whole thing. In California, an acupuncturist is actually considered a primary care physician, which, wow, that's really cool. But the theory of it, so if you're familiar with chakras, so basic chakras, there's 7 of them, and the banners behind me have, well, you can see down to the green, the heart chakra. So the crown, the ajna, the third eye, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the sacral, and then or in pranic healing, what they call the sex chakra, and then the base chakra, which the crown chakra connects us to upwards, and then to our higher self, spiritual consciousness, and then the base chakra connects us to the magnetic field of Mother Earth, right? And so all the chakras in between are how we interact with ourselves and others, and different functions, different information. So when Grandmaster Choakaksui came up with the pranic healing module, he added a couple new chakras. So traditional chakra, the traditional chakra system, the Indian chakra system, that was thousands of years old, has the 7 chakras. So he came up with an 11 chakra system for healing. So he included the spleen as its own chakra, and he included some points that are used in martial arts, the Dantian and the Mingmen, which is the navel chakra, and then behind the navel, like if you were to insert a rod through the navel and it comes out the back. Don't do that, but that's where the Ming Min would be, where that right behind the navel and the back. So the spleen, the dantian, the main min, 7, 8, 10, and then the forehead chakra. So the crown chakra, and then the forehead chakra. It's in Hinduism, it's called the Sindhu point. So the Bindu point and Sindhu point. But to me, that's really an extension of the crown chakra, because both the gland for both of them is the pituitary gland. So so he added other chakras. So for my system, to simplify it, I love simplification. When I'm teaching it, I put it back to the 7 chakra system. I teach about the Ming Min and the Dantian, but those, I don't consider them separate chakras. They're important points and you can learn about them. And then as far as the spleen being a chakra, it comes from some teachings in theosophy. Basically C.W. Ledbetter, the late 1800s, they were writing about this yogic sciences from India for the Western audience. They were mystifying it, adding a lot of Western interpretation and symbolism to it. And so Ledbetter talks about the theory of what's called vitality globulates, which are in our body. And he talked about the spleen being a main source for them. I don't really see it as a separate chakra so much. I understand his theory about how it could act like that, but we can certainly use our energy techniques to cleanse it, the spleen and the liver, the kidneys, all the inner organs. But I don't really see it as a separate chakra. So just there's little subtle things like that that what I'm teaching differentiates from if you take the pranic healing classes. But again, too, I want people to be able to read any book on chakras and go, okay, I can use this information in here without going, wait a minute, what's without confusing the issue. And I want to be able to, and then with acupuncture, the acupuncture point, so there's about 400 points, 14 different meridians that run through the body, about 400 points along those meridians, and then some points that don't exist on meridians that can be utilized. And so when we're doing, and this isn't until I think level 3, so the advanced classes, but I want the students who come to the Biofield Therapy classes to be able to pick up a book on acupuncture, open it up. They're looking for treatments for very specific things. The more advanced you get, the more you get to refine your art, and you get to, when you're putting together really, really specific treatments for very specific ailments, I want them to be able to go outside of just the conventional systems, go into these amazing traditional systems with an enormous amount of, enormous amount of materials, be able to navigate it in such a way that it actually becomes useful. And so I know that sounded really, really technical, but that's sort of what I wanted to gear my classes towards, just helping people in that manner, and really being able to prepare people the same way that I have. When I'm putting together a treatment, I was thinking about the resources that I have available to me, and there's no reason for someone to have to spend years and years and years studying it and putting all together, because the information's there, and you just have to know a few little things to be able to access it. And so my goal is to teach those few little things that you need to access it and put it into your own practice. Any questions?
We had a few more people join.
Oh, cool. Hello, everyone.
James says he's learning to Zoom today.
Oh, cool. Cool. So we're having and my reason for doing this is just is informational and not necessarily to advertise my classes, but of course to advertise the classes because they're coming up. So I have we're having our next level 1 session will be February 7th. Level 2 February 14th. So they're one weekend after another. So the first first 2 Sundays in, yeah, the first 2 Sundays in February. And then the second Sunday in March, I was wanting to do, my goal for 2021 is to do one workshop a month on the second Sunday. And so we moved January's, we went ahead and did an informational like this a couple weeks ago. We went ahead and moved that class into the February class. I don't think we gave ourselves enough time to advertise, and then there was some other things going on. Some other things going on too, and so we just decided to go ahead and do an informational, and then those students were fine with rolling their session into the February session, because it's more fun when there's people. I'll do one-on-one gladly, but it's a lot more, this type of classes, it's more fun when there's more people. Was that a question? Or oh, okay. So I think I give the links for the classes are on the if you go to the Open Eye Mystic Shop, or just Google the Open Eye Clovis, California, Robert's webpage, and you'll be able to go to the link with where you can sign up for the classes if you're interested in those.
Can I hear you?
Is that? Oh, that's okay. So the classes
Hi,
that I'm.
Erin. Oh, sorry. I was going to just real quick.
Oh,
Michelle, hi.
Hi, how are
I did
you?
get my package. Hi.
Oh,
I got my
good.
package, so I'm super excited. I got the crystals, the essential
Cool.
oil, and the
Nice.
is it like a mist water,
It's a
like anointed type water?
a little sprayer. So it's what it is. It's alcohol with some lavender in it. I have mine right here. I try to keep one next to me when I'm home. It's alcohol with a little bit of lavender. And when you guys make these at home, you can do half alcohol, put a few little drops, and then fill the rest with water, so it's not as hard. I just use all alcohol. It's bad for, I know it's bad for your skin. Make sure you're doing lotion especially. But because when I do my sessions, I'm doing them all day long a lot of times. And so if I put the water in, then I start getting prune fingers. So when I make them,
Okay, makes sense, yeah.
I use all alcohol, and then just a couple little drops of lavender. I like the French lavender, and so that's what's in these. So they'll come with your package. And you didn't. So the things that, if you pick up, anyone who prepays for the class that's able to pick up their package in Fresno, you'll get the, what did you get? The spray bottle, your textbook, and then we'll have a printout of a syllabus for you, which I think you got. Did you get a printout of the syllabus, or did you get a PDF?
I have to look for I probably got the PDF because I didn't get the printout.
Okay. I don't know what, I gave everything to Robert, and then he was going to send.
Yeah, no problem. Got the book, started on it, so it's perfect.
Okay.
And then
you can pick up a big plastic bowl at Dollar Tree or wherever, 99-cent store.
Yeah.
And just some rock salt. And so I think that's the people that pick up their package, they'll get that. But I think since we mailed it, it would be way too bulk, like not cost effective at all to ship that to you. But I think that's
no problem.
You need. But to make up for that, you get the vial of lavender, so you can refill it, and then if they're picking it, if people are picking it up, then they get the sprayer, but then you'll have to get your own lavender after that. So that was our exchange for you for for having to get your own bowl.
Thank you very much.
Get your own bowl and print out your own syllabus. But yeah, and then
Perfect. Thank you so much.
thank you. I'm glad you got that. And so with the level 1 classes, so the things were, like I said, it's going to be self-healing, because trying to switch from the convenience of going, okay, we're going to do this exercise, partner up, and we can't do that online. So we put it really to it self-healing, so that we're working with our own energy, which is actually better for beginning anyway. It's one of the concerns that I'd had in class, and one of the reasons I was glad I'm right there. And thankfully, most of the time we were working with other healers, but you don't want really beginners working on you if they haven't done it before and if it's their first time. I try to teach it in a safe way, and it's mostly cleansing and clearing, so there's not a lot of danger, but we'll just be working on ourselves. So methods to sense and analyze your body's energy fields to discover which systems are out of balance. So it's really easy to become out of balance. We're all out of balance at one time or another, and I'm not just saying even healers, we have to do our own sessions and get ourselves balanced too. And I have other healers that I work with that I go to for sessions. So whoever you are, you're always going to need some help, right? Various therapies with a focus on energy work in order to restore imbalances. So one of the things with this book, and it's listed as a textbook, it's really not so much a textbook because we're not going over it chapter by chapter. It's more like a reference manual. So since I'm lazy, you'll read about the chakras in here, learn about the basic 7 chakra system in here, learn the basic exercises. And one of the things I love about her book, she gives a lot of therapies that I don't generally teach or work with. And so that's something that you can add to your toolbox. She also, and the main reason that I chose this book, there's a self-diagnosis. So it's a quiz, and then you go through the chart. So photocopy, so you're not, well, you can mark it in your book, it's your book, but you can photocopy. And you go through this list of questions, and then, so that's just one way of diagnosing. And then we'll do that, and we'll do some other ways of diagnosing. In pranic healing, they use the scanning technique, so we'll learn how to do that. There's also ways of diagnosing using a pendulum. There's a lot of different ways we can do it, and so I'll share some methods with you. And then powerful techniques to effectively utilize and enhance the healing properties of your crystals, your oils, etc. So the little crystals that come with your registration package, you'll learn how to program those, like basic programming techniques for those, so that they become tools for you to use. And then the level 2, which will be February 14th. So February 7th is so February 14th will be level 2. So that's intermediate and advanced techniques for diagnosing imbalances in others. So we'll work with a lot of what of the material from level 1, but then as we progress through these classes, the goal is to get a little bit more refined and a little bit more refined. So, so you'll have, from the time you take the first class, and then you'll have a week to work with some of the materials to integrate them. And then we'll work on refining them a little bit. Application and expansion of principles learned in level 1. So we'll learn how to do sessions for your family and for your friends and for your clients. But again, since this is and if you want, for level 2, if you have a guinea pig or a willing victim, feel free to let them that's willing to let you experiment on them. Please feel free to have them with you during the session. But but otherwise we'll work on ourselves. It's a little tricky, but I modified it in such a way that you'll be working on yourself, but you'll be doing it as the same way you would do a session for another person, if that makes sense. It'll make more sense once we get to that point. But so techniques and strategies for addressing various disorders and imbalances, and like we were talking about with like, for example, acupuncture, for example, Ayurvedic medicine. There's so many different types of disorders that they've already addressed. And so we're not going to be doing acupuncture, putting needles in ourselves for another people, but I want to teach you how to work with modified acupuncture protocols to perform them with energy healing. So, which is pretty cool. It's one of the reasons, and being able to unlock that is one of the reasons that I believe that I can treat very, very complex cases. And the more you learn, we're not going to cover all 400 points, obviously, in a short class, but I'll give you the material so that you'll be able to look things up for yourself and understand the material that you're looking at. And then level 3 will be the first or the second. All these classes are, except for the February 7th one, will be the second Sunday. So second Sunday in March, I want to teach you how to use the crystal healing wands for wands and spheres. So spheres draw in energy, and with a crystal you can sweep energy and also use it to energize. The first 2 classes we're just going to use our hands for everything. Because one of the cool things is you always have these with you. You don't have to look for your healing crystals. You have them right here. And so I don't want you to be dependent on tools. I'll teach you how to use them, but I don't want you to be dependent on it. I'd like you to be able to do a session anytime, anywhere, at the drop of a hat, whenever it's needed. But we'll learn how to use the wands, we'll learn how to use the spheres, we'll learn how to use the other tools. Energetic system analysis, including the basic acupuncture meridians. And like I said, we're not doing acupuncture, but you'll be able to energetically work this in a similar way that an acupuncturist will work. Advanced energy working techniques, so drawing prana from specific sources and then the use of those in healing. So it's 1:30. So 2 of the sources when we do the basic breathing exercises, the clearing. So we'll use the imagination station in our mind. So focus on your crown chakra, smile at your crown chakra. That's a Taoist healing technique, smiling at your inner organs, smiling at your chakra systems. It sort of wakes them up. Smile at your crown. So take a deep breath, blow out, hold the breath out for a few seconds, breathe in. And then when we breathe out, we're going to breathe up through the crown. So feel that energy rising up, feel it clearing your crown, your antakarana, your spiritual cord. Let's do it one more time. Breathe in, out, hold out, breathe in, and this time up through the crown. Then after a few moments, you should feel like a gentle return. Okay. And bring that energy centered in your heart. Smile at your heart. And as you're smiling, when you smile at your heart smiles back, and your heart smiles at your lungs and your kidneys and your liver and your spleen and your pancreas. So all those inner organs get an energy bath. Now focus on just below the tip of your tailbone. We're going to do the same thing, except this time we're going to clear our grounding cord with our breath. So breathe in, out, And after you breathe out, holding it out. When you breathe in, you're able to absorb extra prana. Breathe in. And then this time, clear the cord. One more time. In. Out. Hold. As we're grounding into the magnetic field of Mother Earth, make sure it's the magnetic field. Especially if we're in the city, it's sort of dirty energy. But if we're grounding into the magnetic field, then it's that pure electrostatic field of the earth. Then you can, if you're sitting on the ground, you can put your palms on the ground. Or if you're sitting in a chair, just face your palms downward towards the ground. And any excess energy, let it be grounded. How's everyone feeling?
Good, good.
Cool. So that's and I know we read a lot about grounding, and a lot of people have different grounding techniques, but the grounding with the breath, and it lets us ground up and down. So that's another thing that I started doing several years ago that I really, really like. It's a very simple technique, very quick technique. So in this grounded state, I'd like to read a short invocation for the healing power of Archangel Michael. So all of the archangels have the suffix El, which means of God or of the divine at the end of their name. So like Giburiel is the strength of God. Rafua is the breath of God or healing of God. Oriel is the light of God. Ariel is the lion of God. Michael means who is like God. So that's a very powerful protector. He's associated in Kabbalist and modern ceremonial magic with the element of fire standing in the south. And of course, the Catholic symbolism of him standing on a demon with his sword in one hand and the scales of justice in the other. So that's really brings balance and brings justice, both strength and mercy are balanced in the archetype of Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, great protector, may this invocation be for the benefit of all those sufferings. And then say, also for myself. Remove and disintegrate all negative or unbalanced attachments from us, all negative energy forms, all negative thought forms, all heavy energy forms. Remove and disintegrate all unbalanced energy, all intruders and mischief makers, all astral forces and dominants, and all small demons and large demons, including succubus and incubus. All living humans who try to steal our energy or do any harm on any level, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, restrain them and remove them from us. Those parts and particles which do not belong to us, remove them from us. Return them in a whole and healed state to whoever they belong, wherever they may be. Do so now. Feel all those little particles lifting off of you. Thank you so much. Find all humans in spirit who are lost around us and take them home, returned in a whole and healed state. Remove and disintegrate all threads and bindings, all cords and ties, all chains and devices of any kind, all curses and hexes on any level, all karmic patterns which are self-defeating, and all karmic links which are no longer needed. Be dissolved and disintegrated now. Return us to our own perfected energetic states now, please. Return to us any and all parts and particles of our own soul vibration from any and all places, wherever they may be, in a whole and healed state, to whatever degree is appropriate for our spiritual evolutionary state at this time. And recalibrate all vibrations and frequencies to hold the highest state of divine light and perfect love. Do so now. Thank you, Archangel Michael. You and those you govern are always protecting us and always ready to come when you are in need. We give you our thanks and gratitude. Blessings and peace to all beings, especially those suffering and in need of mercy. So how are you feeling?
Good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good.
Nice. Cool, cool. And I will share this on my Facebook for everyone. It's been a while. I've used to share it on a regular basis. I don't think I've shared it for a while, and I really, really should, especially with everything going on in the world today, huh? So are there any questions about anything that we talked about today, or any other questions in general? Anything you want to know about energy healing?
Aaron, are we going to get a copy of that invocation?
I'll post one on my Facebook. So it's you can find it online. It's a tradition. Well, it's not really a traditional prayer, but I think the guy who wrote this version of it, it was like in the 70s or 80s, and so, but I modified it and like I do with everything, modified it and added a bunch of things to it. And so I'll post it on my Facebook with a link for the original. So if you want to compare it or whatever version that you're more comfortable using. But
Well,
yeah.
there was great intensity in my hands when we were doing that. I could feel great
Good.
weight and heat. So I definitely want that.
Oh, cool. Okay, I will definitely post it for you. And please also feel free to share it. But yeah, I'll post this so everyone has a chance to use it for yourself and share it with others who share it with. I was hoping I could make like those little prayer cards that they have and maybe a shortened version of it and just put it on those. But and if anyone wants to do that, please feel free. I'm just lazy sometimes. Well, not I am lazy, but also I think of things and go, oh, that's a really cool idea, and then something shiny comes along and I go in 100 other different directions. But yeah, and then so any other questions or comments, or anyone have anything else that you'd like to share?
Is there anything special I need to do to prepare for the next class?
Oh,
Karen, it's Michelle real quick. You know, how about like doing a recording of yourself or something, saying it if you don't want it, you know, while we're doing a class or something, if it's easier for you than writing it down, because sometimes, you know, I'll try to record myself on a tape, you know, doing chakras and stuff like that, or, you know, prayers, and I cannot stand the way I sound. But like your voice, I mean, there's certain other voices that I've, you know, bookmarked there on my YouTube, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that might be nice too.
So I'll try to remember to do a YouTube version of that. That'll be nice. And I have so my channel's called In Honor of Buddha. I made it several months ago because I was going to do weekly recordings, and I haven't. So that might be the first.
I have you bookmarked. I know.
So yeah, and as far as doing things to prepare for the class, just the so the readings in this book, that grounding meditation, so the grounding up, grounding down, and so practice that, and so that you're comfortable with it. So when we're breathing in, breathe out, hold out. When you hold your breath out, then when you take another breath after that, it really helps fill your whole system. And other than that, like I said, the classes are really, I try to make them very, very step by step. And so we're not really leaving a lot out. If you're familiar with different types of meditation, leading up to the class on the 7th, just you can practice meditation, which we all should be doing anyway, which I'm guilty of not doing sometimes too. And otherwise, yeah, just becoming familiar with your chakras. I think the grounding by breath, and then becoming familiar with your chakras, because the more you know about the chakras, the more you'll get out of the class. And like I was talking about earlier with pranic healing, and I know some of you have taken which I love pranic healing. Grandmaster Choa Kaksue I still consider one of my spiritual teachers. And I have eternal gratitude to the people who taught me pranic healing. But they use an 11 chakra system. And so what we're going to do is the 7 chakra system, but we are using the front and back chakras. And like I was explaining, so the forehead chakra used in pranic healing is basically the front of the crown chakra, right? So the crown chakra, the throat chakra is front and back, and also there's some, so the front connect is our creativity and our creations, our communication. And then the back of our neck is the beginning of right at the nape of the neck is the beginning of the vagus nerve. So whereas the crown chakra, the central nervous system, as our hands and our movements and this and that, the vagus nerve is the beginning of our autonomic functions. So conscious, subconscious, creativity, communication, but then also so this part's what connects us to our ancestors. So this is the tree of wisdom because it's active and it's what we're learning. This is the tree of knowledge because it's subconscious. we're not consciously making our heart pump. We're not constantly doing all of the little inside functions. Okay, so little things like that. In front and back heart chakra, the heart chakra has a front and back, solar plexus has a front and back. The navel, we're not going to consider it a chakra. Well, we can use it, but we're not going to consider it a chakra. So the dantian in Chinese, which is the sea of energy. So that's why the martial artists will concentrate on their navel chakra and do meditation in Qigong. If you're familiar with the works of Mantak Chia and other Qigong masters, they talk about, and different Kung Fu masters, they talk about putting energy into the navel. That's why they're able to stand in a horse stance and someone can come up and shove them and they won't move because they have so much energy built up in the navel. They have so much energy reserves that it's really incredible. Taking ginseng also helps to fortify that. But yeah, just familiarize with the chakras. What else? And that's about it. And everything else we'll cover in class. And like I said, I'm really tried to make it step by step so that we're not leaving anything out. When we get to certain points, we're not leaving people behind. So we want everyone to be able to get the material and use it, utilize it. And then the Yellow Emperor's Canon of Medicine, it's about a 2,500-year-old text. Well, the bulk of it 2,500 years old. That's the foundation of a lot of Chinese medicine. So like the concept of yin yang, the concept of 5 elements, a lot of different concepts come from this. And if you're reading modern energy healing books and this and that, they borrow from the Yellow Emperor a lot without giving credit. I don't know if they don't know the history or or what it is, but we'll go through some of it when we get there too. what else? Is there anything else, or did I answer those questions? And I'm going to make a note for myself to do the invocation online, and I'll post it. And
Erin, you had said something about doing a healing altar.
yes. So with this class, we're not going to get into it, but if you want to set up a healing altar, it's basically an ancestor altar, because that's so it's just a little table with a white cloth, a glass of fresh water, and a white candle, and that's the base, is the very, very basic ancestor altar. And so the idea is the candle, it gives light, gives energy, energizes. The water purifies. So a lot of times the water will get little bubbles in it and things like that. That's seen as, well, it's purifying different energies. But that's the basic healing altar. And then there's, of course, hundreds of different things you can do with it. But if you just want a healing space, then that's going to be it. And I don't think we won't get into it with the first class, but I mean, it's not secret knowledge or anything. So if anyone's interested in healing altars, I'm happy to put together either a short talk, which we can do like this for next time. I think we're doing 2 healing classes in February. So I think the next time we'll do an informal chat like this will be probably the last week of February, so that we can do the classes, have a week off, and then I can do that one on healing altars if that's something that's interest to everyone. Will that work?
Yeah.
So February 28th. So it'll just be an informal talk like this. I'll try to put together some more information. So, because I think that's something that a lot of people overlook too, just the idea that you can create this little space in your house that you can go to recharge and heal. So let me make a note for myself. Okay. And I know I keep asking this, but anything else? Sorry. I hope I. Okay. Well, thank you. How many people ended up joining us today?
We're up to 9.
Oh, good.
Thank you, Erin.
Thank you. And again, just like I said before, for 2 weeks ago, when we were the first one of these that we did, and I did not know to add people until much later. Samantha said that she'd been in the waiting room, and then there was quite a few people after that told me they'd been in the waiting room, and I didn't realize that I had to manually add them. I thought that the waiting room would be for before I got online, so there's this waiting room, and then once I got online, then everyone had automatically joined. But no, you have to you have to add them. So if you were stuck there, my sincere apologies, and I'm so glad that we're able to do this together today.
Hey, Aaron, I just want to kind of put it out there, and you and I can talk about this later, but for those that are on, I know it's COVID and we're all cautious of that, but if you wanted to, I would open, you know me, I would be willing to open up my house, even though it's little, if people were, for the 9 that are on today, if they were willing or wanted to come to Hanford, you are more than welcome, as always, to use my house. You know, if people wanted to meet in person or a group, or to see you, or, you know, and because we can't, you know, at Open Eye, because that's kind of a public thing, and the rules and regulations right now. But you know my lifestyle.
Thank you.
You know, we could all wear a mask. We're here. I don't have a lot of activity in my house, or a lot of people in and out. So I feel that we could all be careful and remain healthy. But if people were willing to drive to Hanford for wherever they live, you are more than welcome to use my house as a meetup location.
Thank you very much.
Needed,
No, I
if they
think there's-
wanted, you know, in person or bring a group, you know, or bring in their partner, a friend, to have the instruction from you in person. So I just put it out there and people could give you the feedback.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, and like I don't want to do any large gatherings because that's, but yeah, if you're interested, and we'll do a social distance visit if you're interested in, and in so people in Visalia or around that area that are interested in more face-to-face. And you have a huge backyard too, so if it's a nice day, we can sit out there and
Yeah, there's a huge backyard. But I mean, even like, you know, the house is small, but
yeah,
you know, if you had a couple people, you know, or 4 people, as to
yeah, we've
being
done
able
that.
to
And
record people doing it for everybody that's online that doesn't want to
oh,
be
okay,
in
okay,
person. You could also, you know, if, you know, my house is small, but you had 4 or 6 people, so we can, you know, it's just a
and
few
then
people,
stream,
you're
and then
limited.
okay,
But them to work on each other and you to instruct them for those people online watching to see more of how
oh,
it works,
absolutely.
you
That
know,
might-
how
that might
more of
work
a
too, then.
hands-on.
That might work really well for when we do the and of course if you're feeling sick or anything or been exposed, don't come, obviously. But yeah, that might work for really well for the level 2. Thank you. So we'll talk about that. That'd be, thank you very much for offering
I
that.
mean, well, you're quite welcome. I mean, we can still wear masks for people
Yeah,
being cautious or whatever, you know,
yeah,
and there's no one in my house, you know, but me. But
yeah.
and I wear my mask out and about, so it's not like a lot of interaction. But if
Mm-hmm.
people wanted to, I mean, you and I have talked about this, so we know where we stand on the COVID thing. But
Mhm.
if a few people were willing to and wanted to come to Hanford to see you, you know, one-on-one, I mean, I could tape you, you know, as
Okay.
to doing it with Zoom, and they could see you, you know, teaching, instructing 2 people as partners and stuff. So if
That
somebody
is,
wanted to do that
that,
or just see you in person, I just want to make do my
that
service to spirit. You know what
thank
it is?
you so much. That actually,
Just make it available.
like I said, that might work for, well, and we'll definitely talk about that more, because that would actually probably be ideal for the level 2, well, for the level 3 class for sure, but probably for the level 2 class too, at the end when we're doing doing that type of session. Okay, thank you very, very much.
Well, you know, my house is free. I don't have rules and regulations.
We don't have to,
You
we don't
know,
have to
I mean,
rent the space.
and you know, and it's being meeting people, but being with like-minded people. You know,
Mhm.
we know how it is because I
Yeah.
just I'm grateful for you and appreciate you immensely. So
Oh, I'm grateful for all of you too. And that's another reason I'd like to do these. So these video sessions, do them on a regular basis. Like I said, so that my goal for, well, my promise for 2021 is a 1 workshop a month on the second Sunday of the month. So maybe the first Sunday or the last Sunday we can do these Zoom sessions and just touch base and chat and learn something, and don't think when I'm putting together these classes it's something from my knowledge base, but I always learn something because I research and I put things together. And there's never been a time that I've been putting together a session or a class or something I wanted to teach that I haven't went, oh, okay, that's something new, that's something I didn't know. So I get something out of it too. And then also the feedback that we get just chatting when I'm presenting, and then someone will say something that wow, okay. So I learned from you too. So it's a two-way street. So I appreciate and I'm glad so many people appreciate the work that I do, and I also appreciate you and making me expand and bringing things to my life too. So okay, well, thank you all so much. Let's close with just a very short invocation. spiritual masters, spiritual teachers, all beings of light and flesh present today. Thank you so much. Thank you for your divine healing, divine blessing, divine love, divine compassion. In thanks and in full faith, so be it. All right.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. And have a wonderful rest of the weekend and have a very good week.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron,
Yes, sir.
I was a little late getting into class. Did I miss anything pertinent?
Let me see. Just the we were talking about, so I'd given my on my blog, I did that my whole thing about just the history, a little bit about the history of how my biofield therapy classes came into being. And so I talked about that, but then that's also on the blog. So that's on, I have that also posted on my Facebook page. And then we went, did you get the outline for the classes? Like just so the level 1 is going to be our self-healing.
I haven't got no outlines yet.
Oh, okay. So level
I
1, we're
haven't paid anything yet. I want to jump on board.
okay. So the classes are going to be starting at 11 o'clock, February 7th and February 14th. And that can, the Open Eye, I think it's Open Eye Mystic Shop Clovis, or if you just Google the Open Eye Clovis, California, it'll take you to Robert's website. So his website, it's the very first page you'll come to, and I think Hexaba's classes is above mine now, but if you you'll see the link for the class there, and then you can register for the classes. So the level 1 is going to be self-healing, and that one's, and also since you've taken the pranic healing, if you wanted to skip level 1, you're welcome to join us at level 2, because it's a lot of the information you already have. But if you want to review or whatever, then it'd be perfect for you. And I do things a little bit different, but I'm comfortable enough with, if you're comfortable with the pranic healing class, then you should be fine with the material to level 2. And
I would like to review with you.
Okay. And then level 2 will be advanced techniques for diagnosing. So I do diagnosis a little different. So we will learn the scanning, but we'll learn some other tools too. We'll learn pendulum. We'll learn not necessarily clairvoyance, but different ways to see where the imbalances are. Let me see, pendulum, and then verbal diagnosis, which I know that so that's something unique to what I do, and that's not included in the pranic healing system. But again, we're not getting way into that until the second one, but we'll be introduced to that in the first one. And then charging and healing the stones and oils, that's not in. So yeah, okay. So yeah, you'll get, there's still stuff you'll get out of it. That's
the stones and oils, charging the wands, the pendulum stuff that isn't taught in the prana.
Okay, so that'll be new. And then for level 2, it'll be the intermediate. So then that's healing other people, and then really refine, because like I said, like the energy work part, like the mechanics is very you can sit down and teach the mechanics in an hour, and someone can work on that and learn how to do the energy work. But as far as the main thing is, as healers, is learning how to, and we're not doing diagnosis in the Western sense, but learning how to refine our practice to the point that we can get down to the nitty gritty. And if someone comes in, they have this or that going on with them, that we're able to look at it, we're able to diagnose it, we're able to figure out, okay, so this is the system that's imbalanced, but beyond that, what's the root of that? And then getting down to the nitty gritty. And so the more we the better we and like a medical doctor too, the better we become at diagnostic, and in this case energy diagnostics, the more accurate, the more intricate our healing method can become, the more refined our healing method can become, and it's then we're able to facilitate healing on a whole new level. So level 2 is a lot of it is really geared towards the diagnostics. And then level 3 is the crystal wand, the healing crystals. So the wands, the spheres, different tools. I also want to get into herbs and other substances, and then also the legalities of behind all that, so that like we're not prescribing herbs, we're recommending herbs, right? Because there's a different
Do you
and
do
then,
anything with remote energy healing?
yeah, and in fact that'll be we'll touch on that in level 1, and then level 2 we're going to cover that a lot more. So that was one of the things too with so this past year, of course with the COVID, we've switched gears from doing I was making myself available for open clinic, remember the last weekend of the month at the Open Eye, and it was pretty popular. It was from the time I got there till the time I left, it was pretty consistent with people coming in. And then the first weekend of the month, we had our reading group, and then people staying after that. And so we were even talking about adding another day during the month that I could be there, and then my own in-person clients too. But with the COVID, I've really had to switch gears. And so what I've been doing this past year is distance healing sessions, and which I've always done and always had available, but switching to that in an almost exclusive format's really taught me a lot as far as making me more comfortable with it. And so that's what we're going to be and then that's what we're going to be learning a lot too. So you'll be able to do in-person healing, like Karen was talking about, offering her space for a few students. Of course, not everyone, not everyone, because just because of the risk, but a few students who, if you might want in-person instruction, and especially for the level 2 healing when we're working on others, be comfortable enough to do, because energy is pervasive. It's all places, all times, and so you can do a session for someone around the world, and you're doing the work. You're going to set up the same way that you would do an in-person session. The only difference is, instead of them being right there in front of you, they're somewhere else, but you're working on their energy field, and you can do that. You can comfortably and safely do that. And so we'll go over that, and I want people to be to get comfortable with that format. And you can work on yourself the same way. Just project that image. This is you sitting in front of you, which sounds a little bit weird. Now I'm going to work on myself, right? Cleanse, clear, cut my cords, balance me, put on the little, right? So everything that I've done, I would do for someone else or in a session, now I'm doing for myself. And then at the end of it, when I snap that cord between me and the client, or in this case, me and little me over here that I've been visualizing, whew, I feel it, and it's tangible, and I'm going, whoa. Now it's all the energy hits and it sinks in, and I'm going, wow. And so yeah, we can definitely work on ourselves that way too. And then once we snap that cord, that energy comes back. And like I always tell people, you're getting the session, but then give it about 24 hours, because energy is pervasive, and it's all these levels out here, and it's going to take a little while to integrate. And also when you're doing distance energy work, and this is for everyone who practices any type of healing, if you're using video sessions, don't do it through your screen, because I started doing that. I guess it was a couple months ago, working on someone trying to work on them through the screen. And then I noticed at a certain point, and this was on my other laptop. It's a little older, but the screen started going like it was wanting to go out. And I'd stop, and then I'd start sweeping again, and it starts going, and I'm going, oh. Well, a couple thoughts. First of all was, yeah, I need to just do the distance session like, like they're not here. And then the other thought was, wow, this stuff is real.
I have my bowl of salt water on the side, my incense on the side. I got my spray bottle with lavender. And I do what you're saying, I project a person there.
Yeah.
People tell me afterwards sometimes they get dizzy while I'm doing the work on them. So
Mhm.
I know it's real, but I know
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
a novice at it, and would like to increase my skill level.
So if they're getting dizzy, like beforehand, are you making sure you're hydrating, that they're hydrating, that you're doing your meditation? Because it's fine to get a little bit dizzy. Well, and plus you have.
I didn't tell anybody to hydrate, but I did my meditation and hydrate myself.
Okay. Oh, okay. So make sure that they're hydrated, and then and then also if someone starts getting dizzy, I'll slow down a little bit, so that way it's well, because you project a lot of energy. You're very, very good at projecting energy. So now it's just doing it slower, doing it because we're not trying to short circuit them. Well, when you do it very, very, very quickly, and that's what some like Reiki, and then there's some techniques where you actually, the intention is to short circuit them, like basically almost like the energetic version. What are those things? The paddles. But you're doing that to their energy system to boom, get it restarted and get it. But it's, to me, it's really not necessary. We can do it slowly. We can do it in a
I've used a loud clap on sometimes to do what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
To move energy for people.
Just do it in a very gentle and loving manner.
Yeah.
And then when we're doing our sessions too, a lot of times when we're doing healing sessions, when you're doing a healing session for someone, you're working with that bioenergy, but you're also working in a lot of times and in a lot of ways, and especially with ancestral traumas, you're dealing with an enormous amount of karmic energy too. And so if you're taking away a karmic lesson that was, even if it doesn't belong to them, if it belongs to an ancestor or belongs to a partner or someone that's put it on them, that's still a karmic lesson. And so we might have removed these during our session. So at the end of the session, I always like to ask, okay, anything that's been removed that was karmic in nature, may it be, if it needs to be reactivated, let it be reactivated in a gentle and loving manner. Because karma, you can't escape it, it's going to come, but it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to learn your lessons through trauma. Like if you're supposed to learn the karmic lesson of slowing down a little bit, you don't have to break your leg to figure out, okay, I need to slow down, right? You could slow down by just going, okay, let me breathe, it doesn't have to be traumatic or dramatic. So activate all of these lessons in a gentle and loving manner.
I was taught that your body holds trauma.
Oh yeah.
Karma's like that.
We absolutely, and in fact, that's there's modern psychotherapy schools are based on that, like the whole idea that, especially people suffering from PTSD, and a therapist will notice different places in their body that are reacting, like people that when they're sitting down and their legs going like this, right? And they don't, and it's not everyone who does that is suffering from it, but they'll be talking about certain things and you notice certain movements, and yeah, that's because it's connected to trauma, and it's connected to trauma in that part of the body. And just like our bodies hold memory just like anything else. It becomes a muscle memory. Yeah.
Our bodies become a memory of the past, or a record of the past.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Aaron. I'm
Thank
looking
you so
forward to
much.
getting these books, getting this class get going. I'll be back with you on February 7th. And
Okay, cool. I look
I
forward
do
to
miss you. Wish we could pop in at open eye once in a while, but we're gonna have
I
to wait.
know that. Aw.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. Well, I'm getting my second immunity shot on February 9th. I mean, I'll still wear my mask and still do all the
Yeah.
all the good things, but that's and hopefully it'll be available for the general public soon, so that okay, well, thank you. And thank everyone. Thank you all so much. And sorry, we sort of started chatting about shooting shop about energy healing, but thank you all so much for joining us. And like I said, we'll try to make this a regular thing. So I have down for February 28th, we'll do healing altars. So I'll advertise that.
I want
and
to know about a healing altar.
definitely
Yeah.
just how to set it up and how to.
I
And the way,
I already have 2 other altars, but I don't have one for healing yet.
oh, cool. Okay. We'll go over what goes on them and how to empower them and all that stuff. So the basic one, like I said, it's going to be the ancestor altar, but then there's other ones that you can set to for specific times and places for specific people and things like that.
Very good.
Oh, and then I'll post the Michael invocation, because a lot of people, I could feel when we were doing it today, you could really feel it was very tangible. So I'll post that for everyone. And then like Michelle said, I'll try to hopefully, and you can please feel free to remind me if I forget, but I'll try to in the next couple, maybe later today, but I doubt it, but because I have appointments after this, but this week sometime do it on YouTube so that it's so that everyone can see it and hear it. And then it's a lot easier to do especially a guided meditation when you can just listen to it and you're not having to read it. So I'll try to get that up for everyone. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin.
Namaste.
Oh, I thought, did someone say I have a question, or am I hearing things again? Okay. All right.
You, Erin.
Thank you.
Hi, I do have a question.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually one of the observers from Penny's class,
Oh, okay.
and I was wondering if I could get just a very short interview with you. It's just a few questions. I don't want to hold you up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so how does participating in this event help you in life?
As far as the biofield therapy.
Yeah, or just like or just the chakra therapy, just like the cleansings and just however you
okay.
participate within that.
So in day-to-day life, we gather junk. We produce our own junk, our astral trash. We pick up things from other people. Modern society, we have advertisements everywhere that we go, commercials everywhere we go. And at its very, very basis, advertising is a form of psychic manipulation. They're trying to, do you really need this, or whether you need it or not, here it is. Well, with energy healing, it teaches us how to remove, well, the first step in energy healing is we cut the cords and we lift energy bodies off of the body of the person being healed. So if I'm doing a self-healing session, I'm going to cut all the little etheric and astral cords, get rid of all the little astral cobwebs of everyone, and then ask that any other energies that don't vibrate with my specific soul vibration be lifted and removed. And I think, and that's also one of the things with pranic healing, they'll cut the cords, but also with biofield therapy, in tandem with that is the what I call invocative healing. So anything that doesn't belong to me, remove it from me. When that's happening, I can become more aware of my own energy field. It instantly helps to put me into a semi-meditative state, so that I'm just aware of my own essence. Maybe I was angry earlier, maybe I was stressed out earlier. So does that belong to me? Well, I'm stressed because I'm thinking of this thing over here, this person over here. So that's not my energy, right? So I can not necessarily dismiss it, especially if it's someone I'm trying to help, but at least take that off of my own plate and set it aside for the duration of the session. That when we're doing the sessions, we're getting rid of unbalanced parts. So there's like the whole idea of chakras. So I know it's a metaphysical thing, but I like to make things very, very practical. So chakra, it's an energy center in the body, but what it also is a function. So like the third eye, the Ajna chakra, that symbolizes also our own will, our own volition, our own deep consciousness. So if that's unbalanced, so if I'm having hard time sleeping, or if I'm having disturbed dreams, then I'll treat the Ajna chakra. So the function is also any type of psychic sense, any type of psychic awareness. So as I'm treating it, what I'm also doing on a psychological level is thinking about everything that connects to it. And we'll make, the example that we used is like, maybe I had a nightmare about something. So as I'm looking at that functionally, then I'm able to symbolically seal it, symbolically protect it, and then the next night have a better sleep. If there's things going on with the body, then that's connected to the base chakra, so the very like just underneath the tip of the tailbone. So if I'm treating that in someone that has maybe arthritis, then that's their grounding. So then it's removing imbalanced energies or imbalanced situations, maybe also in their own life. Because with energy healing, we're doing healing on the biofield, the electromagnetic field around the body, but then we're also how's their posture. And so at the end of the session, are they sitting up straighter? If they're not, then I need to continue. If they are, then it was effective. Are they still feeling pain? So then there's other treatments. So it's really, really just putting ourselves in balance. The whole idea with healing, we're facilitating healing with you can go to the doctor if you have a broken bone or a big cut, right? So if you have a laceration or a cut, the doctor can stitch it up, but how does it heal? The healing's actually a metabolic process that's going on. The doctor's not healing it, they're stitching it, but the body always has to heal itself, and the body and mind have an incredible capacity to heal themselves. And so what we're doing as energy healers is facilitating that capacity, maybe boosting the capacity a little if needed, but just also facilitating it, holding space so that person can do their own healing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Okay, and did I answer your? I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You gave me a lot, so thank you.
Okay.
And then my other question was, how does practicing the healing like help you to adapt to society?
Okay. In a lot of ways it doesn't, because when you tell someone you're an energy healer, they go, oh. You get two different reactions. People that go, oh, that's really cool, and people that go, okay, this is right, because it's not something that's really, really mainstream at this point. Well, a lot more mainstream than it was several years ago, but also it's the practices of energy healing, the type of energy healing I do. I have very severe social anxiety, years ago, before I started this, it would have been impossible for me to even consider getting up in front of people, or doing an online session like this where I'm talking to people. It would just horrifying to me. So through meditation, through learning how to do my energy healing, through learning how to sort of protect my own energy field from the random energies of others. It's really given me that confidence that I needed. And it wasn't something that just happened overnight, but over time, all of a sudden I realized, wow, I can be in crowds now. I can go places where there's a lot of people. I don't feel like I'm having a panic attack if I'm around people I don't know, which was a real problem. Especially all the way from the time I was a teenager till my very early 20s. Well, mostly from a teenager. By the time I was in my early 20s, I'd started doing meditation, so it started helping me a little bit. But yeah, just things like that. And then little improvements in different aspects of my life, especially being a caregiver and working in the medical field most of my adult life, I'd noticed if there's something going on with someone, and I don't always tell them, okay, I'm going to do a healing session for you, but it gives me that little extra tool to help others, whether they know it or not, sometimes. And so that's been a blessing for me as well.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely helped. That was all I have. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you so much.
And also, Penny has my email is Erin, ERRINDAV @gmail.com, or also ANXFISA at gmail.com. So feel free to email me if you have any more questions. Thank you so much.
Okay, and then she mentioned you were gonna post something in chat afterwards, about the master or.
Oh, Grandmaster Choa. So yeah, just his name. So he's the founder of Pranic Healing. So that's if you want to look at Pranic Healing, that's a lot of information. And then Curtis Kemp, the guy that I was chatting with at the end, he's a Pranic healer, and then he's interested in learning the way I do it too. So, and I am not seeing the chat. Why don't I just? I don't know how to do the chat on here. So, well, I'll send the information on one way or the other. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, so Grandmaster's name, it's just Master Choa Kaksui. So he's the founder of the Pranic Healing. Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much.